Hello, welcome to Powers Restore. I am Andrea Powers of Powers Yoga. Today we're going to do a quick and lovely restorative class to end your day. Go ahead and grab a bolster. You're not going to want to miss this. So let's start first by bringing the bolster, and we'll bring our big toes together and knees slightly apart, and let's bring the bolster so it hits the inner part of our thighs, and we'll walk our hands out and let our heart melt to the thighs. But for this child's pose, we're going to turn and bring our right ear down, and then go ahead and give that bolster a great big hug. And you want the bolster to fully support you. One of the principles of restorative yoga is to fully relax and let go, and let the bolster fully support you so you can find comfort in the pose and find ease and be able to hold the pose longer without the bolster or with the bolster. So let's go ahead and let's come into our child's pose. You're going to go ahead, grab for the bolster, bring your right ear down. And once you find the pose and the place where you feel comfortable and at ease, you're going to relax into the pose, scan the body to see if you're holding any stress or any tension in the body, and just tell that body part to relax and to let go as we hold here for the next few breaths, relaxing the shoulders. And beautiful. To come out of the pose, we're going to bring our palms flat. We're going to lift our heads up, and we're going to do that same thing in the opposite direction. Now we're going to turn, bring our left ear down to the bolster, walk the hands out, and give that bolster a great big hug. Find the most comfortable position, and then focus on the breath as you let the bolster support you. And wonderful. To come out of the pose, we're slowly gonna lift our heads up, walk our hands back, and for our next pose, we're gonna come into a seated twist, supported seated twist. So let's bring the bolster away, and let's bring our right hip up against the bolster. And we're going to go ahead, make sure that bolster is right up against our right hip. We'll bring the left leg on top of the right in front, and then you're going to again give that bolster a great big hug, or maybe even if you want to open up the shoulder a little bit more, you can bring that right arm out and the left arm overhead as well, whichever feels most comfortable to you. But wherever you are, you want to make sure that you find the most comfortable position for yourself, and we're going to hold here. And as you're holding, you're just focusing on your breath. The only thing that should be moving once we found stillness. And beautiful. Let's go ahead now. Let's add a little twist to this. We're going to take our left arm down. Bring our right cheek to the mat and hold here. Again, hugging that bolster. If you want a deeper sensation, the leg that's on top is going to come behind. That will put a deeper twist in the lumbar spine and in the thoracic. So you can go ahead, turn here and hold. Okay, again, let that bolster fully support you. If you are looking for a deeper sensation, then you may want to take that left ear and bring that left ear down to the mat. And beautiful. Let's slowly come out by bringing our palms flat, slowly lifting up, and let's try that on the other side. Let's go ahead and let's shift the weight in the opposite direction. So we have a couple of options in our twist. First, we'll begin with a side stretch. So we'll bring that bolster up against our left side, bring our left side down, bring our left palm up. Again, wiggle the body around, find the most comfortable position. Let's take that right arm over and let those right fingertips drape down onto the forearms, holding here. And try to relax and let go for the next few breaths. And just breathing into the areas you feel tight or stressed. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and let's slowly come out, coming into that twist. We'll take that right arm down to release the left arm, and let's go ahead and let's bring that left cheek down to the bolster. Make sure those knees are coming in towards our chest and give that bolster a great big hug. And if you want a deeper sensation in our cervical spine and in the thoracic spine, go ahead, take that top leg and bring it behind the bottom leg, and then take that right ear down to the bolster, and we're going to hold here for a few breaths. Find again the most comfortable position for yourself and let that bolster fully support you. And beautiful. Slowly come out, bringing the palms flat to lift ourselves out of the pose, and let's go ahead and let's face forward. Let's slowly make our way to the front of the mat. Let's stretch out our legs, come into a supported forward fold. I'll take that bolster now, bring it around to the front part. Relax your toes, relax your feet, and you can bring the bolster a little bit closer if we'd like for a little more support, or if we'd like to bring it a little further away, maybe we can bring our forehead down. Wherever you are, you want to find the most comfortable position for yourself. Okay, so inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, let all the breath out. Go to a place you feel comfortable. We're going to hold here for a few breaths. Once you get to a place where you feel comfortable, scan the body. See if you're holding any tension or stress, and then be still. And let's go ahead now. Let's slowly come out of the pose by walking our hands back. And let's bring the bolster now behind us. So now we're going to bring the bolster right behind our backs. Reverse our spine in the opposite direction from a forward bend to a back bend. So be mindful, only go where you feel comfortable. You can either keep the feet flat maybe to begin. Make sure the bolster is right underneath, or right underneath the back or the sacrum. Lie back, maybe bring the feet flat to begin. Okay, again, wiggle the body around, turn the palms up. And maybe you want to just let the legs open up nice and wide so the knees can cave in and have a little support there. If you feel comfortable here, you want a bigger back then you can straighten out the legs. Again, wiggle the body around. Let the feet fall to the side and bring your attention, awareness, once you've found stillness, to the breath. Maybe in this pose, we want to breathe into our hearts. Tell our hearts to relax, to let go. to slowly come out of our restorative fish pose. We're going to slowly come out by just taking our time, coming up. And beautiful. From here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take that bolster, bring it a little closer. We're going to sit on top of the bolster. So we're going to come right on top of the bolster, the middle part of our bolster. And from there, we're going to lie back, making sure just our shoulder blades are on the bolster for a restorative bridge pose. So make sure your neck is long, and then I want you to exhale. A lot of times students forget to let the bolster support them in this pose. So I want you to sink your lower back into the bolster, and if you're looking for a little deeper sensation, you can see how it feels to straighten out the legs. Okay, you can keep your palms turned up. You can even get a deeper sensation through the shoulders. Maybe take that right arm and grab for the left shoulder, or vice versa, whichever one feels more comfortable to you, holding here. With each exhale, I want you to exhale, tell the body part, wherever it is that you feel the most stress. Maybe it's the hip flexors or front part of the body, maybe it's the back, maybe it's the whole center part of the body. Maybe we need to back off. Wherever we are today, I want you to tell that body part to relax. Just for today, let the bolster fully support your yoga practice. Beautiful. Let's slowly come out if your legs are straight. Let's bend the knees, bring the feet flat. And maybe we can take the legs out a little bit wider so we can lift the hips up. I want you to just take that bolster out from underneath you so you can bring your hips and your back down flat now onto the mat as we come into a restorative corpse pose. Bringing the bolster now to the back of the knees. Now letting the back come down gently to the mat so we have a neutral position with the spine. Turn your palms up and now let that bolster fully support our legs. Let the back and shoulders and the arms and the back of the head, all the other parts that not touching the bolster, sink into the mat. Close your eyes. Keep your attention, awareness on the breath. As you inhale, feel the belly lift up, fill the belly with your breath. And as you exhale, feel the belly drop down. Maybe on your next inhale, feel the heart lift up. And then as you exhale, feel the heart drop down. Maybe on your next inhale, fill the head with prana, with space. And then exhale it out. For the next few breaths, try to be as still as possible. Just focus on your breath. And if the mind begins to wander, bring it back to the breath. Let your mind hear the breath. And now let's begin to bring our attention awareness back outwards by wiggling around our toes and our hands and maybe our wrists and our ankles. Slowly coming out of our restorative corpse pose, our final relaxation, drawing the knees into the chest. And then gently falling to the right or left hand side, taking a moment here in our baby pose, feeling the comfort and security of this pose. Before we meet in Sukhasana on top of the bolster, pressing through the palm of the upper arm, finding ourselves in a supported Sukhasana today, my favorite pose to be in supported. One of my favorites. But coming to the edge of the bolster, it's almost as if you feel like you're going to fall off your bolster so your hips can open and the knees can come down to the mat. Let's take a moment here and let's bring our palms down and ground our energy. As we take a moment here to think about how we feel physically, mentally, and maybe even spiritually. On our next inhale, let's flip our palms up and draw our palms up over our heads. And on your exhale, lower the hands at the heart center. As I'd like to thank you for practicing with me today, and the good in me bows to the good in you. Namaste.